Put yourself in this situation, okay? You've just been slapped out of the blue with a fairly expensive automotive repair quote, and you were not expecting this at all, okay? And right about now, first couple of weeks in December, the financial burden of Christmas is pressing down upon you like the gravitational pull of friggin' Jupiter or something. And then you go online, you do a bunch of research, and you come up with an alternative, a miracle in a bottle that promises to do essentially the same job at a fraction of the cost. Yes. How should you approach this? Details next. I'm John Cadogan from AutoExpert.com.au, and I get new cars cheap for buyers here in Australia. Website for that, obviously, or you can click the card that might or might not be in a miraculous bottle up there now, dude. Okay, so this question is inspired by a dude just like you, except he's been slapped with this bill for, well, who cares how much it is? Like, when you're not expecting it, it's never good news, and all you're going to get back at the other end of it is the same car you had before, notionally. The rear main seal of our 2005 MX-5 with 67,000 Ks on the clock has a slight leak. The repair estimate from an independent garage is approximately $1,000 to $1,600, depending on whether we replace the clutch at the same time. However, there's a product called ATP 8205 Reseal, a polymer which is claimed to rejuvenate rubber seals in the engine and gearbox. About $140 online in Australia. Have you heard of this product, or have a view on whether it's snake oil, or maybe it works? Thank you for any advice on this. Maybe it's too good to be true. That question from Jeff Miller in Vicwegia, and dude, we've all been there. We're all feeling your pain. There would not be a dude watching this report who has not been slugged with a repair bill he was not expecting at a bad time and felt somewhat cheated, perhaps because the car hadn't been driven very much or the failure was perceived as being premature. Now, there's a thing in science which might seem like a bit of a diversion here, but it's not. It's absolutely core to the issue that you are facing, okay? And it's called the second law of thermodynamics, which is rather a glaring design flaw in the operation of the universe. It basically says that everything wears out. It's inevitable, okay? Like, the universe is a casino, you are obliged to play, and you lose. There is no alternative, okay? Like, look at your face in the mirror. You see your father staring back or something. At least I do. So we're all going to wear out. Your car's going to wear out. Your computer's going to wear out. Your phone's going to wear out. You're going to wear out. I'm going to wear out. I mean, look at me. I'm already nearly there. The problem here, okay, is that irrespective of the age of the car or how infrequently it's been driven, time marches on. And there's this thing called entropy, which says that things get more and more randomized with time. There's less available energy. Stuff wears out. There's a mathematical sort of explanation for the second law as well, but the practical application is that if your car is 20 years old, things start to go wrong, however infrequently it's been driven. And I think if you understand that this is part of the operation of the universe, like it's built into the source code, then you could at least be a little stoic about the inevitability of this process. All right? Because ultimately the universe wears out, it turns into this phantom zone where it's just a soup of amorphous nothing with no free energy. That's the ultimate conclusion of the second law, okay? And hashtag design flaw, I'd suggest. Anyway, as a practical matter, this stuff that you are thinking about buying, what's it called again? It just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? ATP 8205 Reseal. $140 for 8 ounces. You got to buy it from America. 8 ounces is just under a quarter of a litre. So that's like $550 a litre. Jesus, I'd suggest that's a pretty expensive liquid. Like, if you went to a restaurant and you ordered some champagne and you got a quarter of a bottle for $500, it'd want to be good shit, would it not? I'd suggest. Okay, so let's leave that to one side, all right? What I'd suggest here is that a leaking rear main seal is leaking because it's worn out. And you think, I've only driven 67,000 Ks. That's nearly 2 laps of the planet, right? It's more than 1.5 laps of the planet anyway. And in that time, like if you run the numbers, and this is why I think engineering is miraculous, okay? Because that's about 2,000 hours of operation at an average of 30-ish Ks an hour. And if you said that the engine was doing, I don't know, 2,000 RPM or something for most of that time on average, then you're looking at 25 million revolutions of the crankshaft. And the oil is being held in for 25 million revolutions by a little plastic and steel springy sort of part that probably cost a few cents in input costs to manufacture and a few bucks to buy. That's friggin' miraculous. And the fact that it's just sat there on its ass in oil and endured that for 20 frigging years faithfully, you deserve to give it a good send-off. Right? And people don't think about it like that, do they? Because they see the bill. And I get that. Now, as to whether or not this miraculous liquid, the AT8205, whatever, reseal, it's not going to give you a new seal. It might buy you some time. I don't know if there are any negative consequences of using it, but when you go to, I don't know, Super Cheap Auto or something of that nature, and you friggin' look up on the wall, don't you, and you see an entire section of every big auto accessory shop on earth devoted to all of these products, which will either improve the way your engine burns fuel or ameliorate the second law of thermodynamics, right? I'd suggest that's a joke. It really is, and it's a joke on you if you buy into it. And it may buy you some time, but here's what I'd do, okay? If there's a minor leak in your rear main oil seal, suck it up, just live with it leaking for a few months, and then say, oh, well, we'll get it done in 8 months' time. And let's face it, you're not planning on using that car very much in 8 months. You're just not, because in 20 years, you've driven 67,000 Ks. You put $200 aside for the next 8 months, start on the 1st of January or something, and then you'll have the budget to do the repair. That's how I'd play this. You don't need to get it fixed now. You certainly don't need to burn, I don't know, 10% of the repair cost or more on a miraculous sounding liquid that probably will, at best, buy you some time, and at worst, do nothing, okay? I'd just say, okay, in August of next year, we're going to get this fixed and it's going to cost up to $1,600. Here's how we get the funds available without feeling too much pain in one hit. And I just play it like that, mate. But every time I go to a place like Super Cheap and I look up on the wall, it really is a scientific literacy test when you see all of that stuff. These miraculous potions that purport to be able to do, just with the simple decantation into your engine, something that an actual mechanic with skills and tools and time can only repair using those resources. Miracle in a bottle. I mean, come on. This has to be an intelligence test. It's being conducted globally throughout the developed world. And I'd suggest if you fork out the funds, especially in cases such as this, you fail. Just let me detain you briefly with what I hope is a vitally important public service announcement. And it's aimed squarely at you, dude, if you are the proprietor of your very own fat cave. And it doesn't matter whether that fat cave is majestic or mundane. This is equally applicable. And the only downside of me doing this is that I have to gut myself in front of you. I have to admit most shamefully that it's taken me years to do this, and I knew that I should have done it sooner. I've not had a wake-up call. I just finally got off my friggin' arse and got this done, okay? And by this done, I mean this morning, I installed that. Okay, it's a 9 kilo ABE powder fire extinguisher, which is a fairly large domestic extinguisher, and the chemistry is compatible with the widest range of conceivable fat cave fires. And sitting next to it, just there, is a 1.8 by 1.8 metre fire suppression blanket. I put the same two items in the kitchen because where else are you going to burn the joint down from, most likely? Okay, somewhat more elegant installation solution in the kitchen, but same gear. And I got one of these fire blankets and I put it in each of the cars, okay, behind the driver's seat, in the map pocket behind the driver's seat, just in case. And that's mainly in case you come across something that happens out there, like a crash, and somebody might be trapped and a fire might start in a car, or you never know, you might get cut off by a bushfire and you might need a shelter under a blanket. That could happen as well. Anyway, let's hope not in all of these cases. But I did want to talk to you about why this is specifically there and how you should think about where you put your firefighting gear in your fat cave. And I'd suggest simplistically the answer is near the door, because you don't want to have to run one way to get the fire extinguisher and the other way to evacuate. And really what you need to avoid doing is going deeper into the fat cave to get the gear to fight the fire and potentially getting cut off between you and the door by virtue of doing that, okay? So just so that this all makes sense, there's a dirty big roller door here, and that's where I'm going to evacuate if it comes to that. Okay, I'm just going to go straight out the door. And if the electricity goes down, I'm going to run up these stairs here, which is the main access point to get from the fat cave to stately Chateau Shitsville. So that's my secondary evacuation route. And you'll note that going for either of those evacuation routes takes me closer to the firefighting gear, which is kind of important. All right, so wherever you do this and however you do it is going to depend on the architecture of your fat cave. But do not place yourself in a position where you have to go one way for that and the other way to evacuate, right? The consequences of that can be absolutely unthinkable. And you have to also stack the deck in your favour, because amygdala hijack, dude, like in neuroscience, when you're under immense emotional stress like that, your intellect gets shut down, wholly or partially, but it's like potentially 1,000 lemmings over the cliff. That's your intellect, and you're really just reactive. You're literally under attack, and this is a response to that, engineered in by evolution to maximise the chance of survival, perhaps, but not all that good. Not all that compatible, at least, with rational decision-making in the moment. So stack the deck in your favour. Think about evacuation. Put the fire suppression gear on the way to evacuation. Perhaps this is just an example of me overcompensating grossly after years and years and years of ongoing inaction on the safety front, but I got a third extinguisher and it's going to live just under the bench in case I'm grinding or welding and I need one in a hurry. And if that doesn't pan out for whatever reason, or I'm running down the stairs at 3 o'clock in the morning, I've got to go past the main installation just to get to the extinguishers. So there. I should tell you where I got them from, and no, I know what you're thinking, but this is not a sponsored post. This business does not have any idea I'm about to give them a plug. They're just good, right? And credit where it's due. highcraftsafety.com.au. That's hicraftsafety.com.au. I made the first order of 3 extinguishers and they arrived like boom. There was no COVID delivery delay bullshit. They just got off their asses and delivered it. Standard delivery within 48 hours, I just got it. They're based in Sydney, but they ship Australia-wide, so there's that. And I was so impressed with that I bought the blankets from them in a separate order a few days later, and carbon copy. Boom, knock on the door, here's your blankets. So happy days. They're just efficient and they deserve props for doing an important job and getting it right. So highcraftsafety.com.au, I hope it sells them a few extinguishers because, you know, good businesses need to be recognised independently by, you know, commentators with an audience, and hopefully this does them a favour and it'll sort you out as well. And certainly don't do what I did. Don't think about this as a good idea for several years and then later get off your ass. Just get it done before Christmas, dude. Like, you know you want to.